Hi everyone, it's June again, and today the project is a double shadow box card. So we'll get started. I may have to do this in two parts. I'm so sorry. I tried this before and it took 20 minutes to do the whole box card, the double one. YouTube won't let me upload it, even though I have verification I can put longer videos on. So I need to keep an eye on the time and get a wiggle on. So what we need is a scoreboard, and this one I'm using 8-inch square papers, and you need two. So I have mine cut, and to save some time I've already scored it. This isn't double-sided, and a tip here is if you've got some paper that's quite heavily patterned, score it on that side providing it's plain on the other, because you can see the lines much better on the plain side. So what we need to do, just let me explain here. We've got our paper in the scoreboard, and we need to score 1/2 inch, 1 inch, 1.5 inches, 2 inches, then go to 6 inches, 6.5, 7, 7.5. Give it 1/4 turn and do exactly the same. So it's 1/2 inch, 1 inch, 1.5, 2 inches, 6 inches, 6.5, 7 inches, 7.5. And then on opposite sides, so I'm going this way, put the paper back in, go to 2.5 inches and score to the second score line. Then go to 5.5 inches and score to the second score line. Turn your paper around and do exactly the same. 2.5 inches, 5.5 inches, second score line. Now we need to do some cutting. So where the score line is on the second line, I hope you can see this because I can't see my camera. So I hope I'm in focus. So cut to the second score line, and then you're going to cut on a diagonal to that point, and then from that point to the end of the second score line, and then we're going to cut all that away. So this is sort of the fancy cut, but at the end of the day all these little squares will be removed. So we're going on a diagonal and then up and along and remove to the second score line, diagonally across, second score line, diagonally across, and last one, okay. So your cut paper should look like that. These are all the little squares. now removed, and then I will quickly burnish each score line. It's these little bits that take up the time. Last one. And I like to take a slither off each edge. So I'll try quickly to do that. And then turn it over so I can do the opposite side. It gives it a neater corner, as I'm sure you all know. And that's that. So if you start with your two straight pieces, oh, and I must mention that I saw several people make shadow boxes in different ways. This way, it's slightly different, but the lady is called Sam and her channel is called Mix Up Crafts, and I think this is the easiest and best way to create a shadow box. So what we need to do, so we have 4, we'll call them panels on there, and on the first panel apply your glue. On the second panel we're going to bend that over, so you've got the glue on that little bit, and we're bending that over and then bending it over again. But I can see it's when I use a paper trimmer or a guillotine I cannot cut straight. I know I mention this every time, I apologise. Right then, first panel. I'll get some glue on there. Try not to get right to the edge and try not to get to your score line. So we'll put that down, press that down, and then take it over and press that. And then if you just gently lift that up, you should have, or you should see, a nice little cube. We'll do that on the other side. Just straighten that again. Take a slither off, really. Back with the glue. You can use tape if you want as well. So we fold it on the second and put it over. And then on this side. And if you're using paper that isn't double-sided, even if it is actually, depending on what you want to put inside that, inside the box, I would decorate it, stamp your verse or whatever. It's more so if you're doing mats and layers, before you glue this into position. Because whilst we have used an 8-inch piece of paper, it gives you a 4-inch shadow box, but obviously inside in this area is much smaller than 4 inches, and I think it works out to about 3.5 inches or just under. I've got some finished ones to show you. So just hold it in place. My glue's not coming out very well. So just hold those corners in place. I think it's so nice you don't have to do a double. I've made actually 2 doubles and a single one, which I'll show you at the end. So this is when I would do my matting and layering or any stamping, and then put it in before this is adhered. And I'm just putting a little bit on these corners. And holding those down. Also, if you're using a pattern paper that you have, that the design is going in one direction, even if you're just making a single shadow box, when you come to decorate the inside, make sure you're the right way up. See, that's upside down, the writing. So we would want it that way when anybody looks at the back. And there's one shadow box. So I'm going to stop the video now. It's ridiculous, I'm sorry. I'm going to stop the video and then do part 2 where I'm putting those two together and showing you the finished boxes. 1 minute.